There is a stranger living in your mind. You wake up with them. You go to work with them. You let them choose your partner, your career, and your arguments. You think you know them. You even think you are them, but you're not. You are the passenger. They are driving, and most of the time, they are driving too fast with a map that doesn't match the road. We spend our lives convinced that we are the rational architects of our own destiny. We believe that when we make a choice to buy that house, to send that angry text, to marry that person, we are doing it because we have weighed the facts. We think we are logical beings who occasionally feel emotion, but that is a lie. The reality is terrifyingly different. You are an emotional machine that occasionally, very occasionally thinks. Today, we are going to open the hood of human consciousness. We are going to deconstruct the masterpiece of behavioral psychology, Thinking, Fast and Slow, by Daniel Kahneman. This isn't just a book about how you think. This is a manual for the mechanics of your soul. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand why you make mistakes. You will understand who is actually running the show behind your eyes. Let's begin. The architecture of error. To understand why we struggle, why we procrastinate, why we misjudge people, why we cling to bad investments, we have to stop looking at our choices and start looking at our machinery. Imagine a high-tech cockpit. Sitting in the pilot's chair is a character we'll call System 1. System 1 is fast, it is intuitive, it is emotional, it operates on instinct and patterns. It's the part of you that snaps your head around when you hear a loud noise. It's the part of you that instantly detects anger in a friend's voice before they say a word. System 1 is a survival machine. It's been evolving for millions of years to keep you alive in the jungle. It is effortless. It never sleeps. But there is a co-pilot, System 2. System 2 is slow. It is deliberate. It is logical. It's the part of you that solves a complex math problem. It's the part of you that parks a car in a tight space. It's the part of you that decides to hold your tongue when you want to scream. Here's the tragedy of the human condition. We identify with System 2. When you say I, you are talking about the conscious, reasoning self. You think you are the pilot, but Kahneman reveals the uncomfortable truth. You are the co-pilot, and you are lazy. System 2 is energy expensive. It hates to work. It wants to coast. So, for 95% of your day, you surrender the controls to System 1. You let the fast, emotional, pattern-matching savage fly the plane. And System 1 is brilliant, but it is gullible. It believes what it sees. It ignores what it doesn't know. It substitutes difficult questions for easy ones. When you ask yourself, is this person a good potential partner? That is a hard question. It requires data and time. So System 1 swaps it for an easier question. Do I feel good around this person right now? If the answer is yes, System 1 decides the answer to the first question is also yes. This is why we crash. We let an impulsive, fast-twitch system make slow-burn, life-altering decisions. We are running modern software on ancient hardware, and the glitch isn't in the world around us. The glitch is us. We are going to fix that glitch. We are going to learn how to wake up the co-pilot. Core idea 1. The two characters. Let's get specific about these two characters in your head, because until you can separate them, you are their slave. Think of your mind as a partnership between an impulsive, energetic toddler and a sleepy, exhausted professor. The toddler, System 1, is running around the room, grabbing things, making noise, reacting to everything instantly. It has no filter. It has no concept of the future. It only knows now. The professor, System 2, is sitting in the corner, trying to nap. The professor is the only one who can do calculus, plan for retirement, or de-escalate a fight. But the professor is lazy. He will only get up if the toddler creates a disaster so big it can't be ignored. Most of your life is the toddler running the show. While the professor nods off in the chair, most people think their intuition is a superpower. We are told to trust our gut. We glorify instinct. But the truth is, your intuition is mostly just recognized patterns, and often it is wrong. Your gut is designed for certainty, not accuracy. System 1 hates doubt. It suppresses ambiguity. It constructs a coherent story even if the facts are missing. When you feel absolutely certain about something without having data, that isn't wisdom. That is the toddler drawing on the walls and calling it art. True wisdom isn't trusting your gut blindly. True wisdom is knowing when to tell your gut to shut up so the professor can get to work. We need to install a switch. We need a system to force System 2 to wake up during critical moments. We call this the cognitive circuit breaker. Phase 1. For the next 30 days, you must identify your high-stakes triggers. These are financial decisions over $100, emotional confrontations with loved ones, commitments of your time that last longer than a week. When any of these occur, you must enact a mandatory cooling period. You are physically forbidden from deciding in the moment. You must say, "I need to process this. I will answer you in 1 hour." Phase 2. During that hour, you have to do the work the brain hates. You must write it down. System 1 happens in your head. System 2 happens on paper. Write down the decision. Then write down 3 reasons why your initial instinct might be wrong. You are forcing the professor to get out of the chair. And check the toddler's work. Phase 3. You need to change how you view your own certainty. Repeat this. My immediate feeling is a suggestion, not a command. I am the editor of my impulses, not the author. Phase 4. Every day, catch yourself in a small assumption. When you judge someone based on their clothes, stop. Ask, what if I'm wrong? When you assume a project will be easy, stop. Ask, what obstacles is System 1 ignoring? Build the muscle of skepticism against your own mind. Imagine a man named David. He's in a meeting. A colleague, Sarah, critiques his project. Immediately, his chest tightens. System 1 screams, "She's attacking you. She thinks you're incompetent." Fight back. The toddler is driving. He opens his mouth to make a sarcastic remark, but he catches the physical sensation, the heat in his face. He trips the circuit breaker. He takes a sip of water. He forces the professor to wake up. The professor looks at the data. Sarah is actually on your side. She's pointing out a flaw now, so you don't get fired later. David puts the cup down. Instead of fighting, he says, "That's a good catch, Sarah. How do we fix it?" In 3 seconds, he moved from a career-damaging outburst to a display of leadership. That is the power of the second system. Core ID 2, the illusion of validity, with GOT. Now that we know who is driving, we need to look at the map they are using. And here is the scary part. The map is mostly blank, but your brain fills it in with invisible ink. Kahneman coined an acronym that explains almost every misunderstanding in human history. WSIT. What you see is all there is. System 1 cannot process information it doesn't have. It treats the information currently in front of it as the entire universe. If you see a man shouting at a cashier, System 1 says, "That man is angry and rude." It does not ask, "Did his wife just die? Is he diabetic and having an episode?" It takes the limited slice of reality it sees and builds a complete confident judgment around it. It mistakes the coherence of a story for the truth of the story. Most people think that confidence is a sign of competence. When we see a leader or an expert speaking with total certainty, we trust them. But the truth is, confidence is usually just a measure of how good System 1 is at ignoring the complexity of the world. High confidence often comes from having less information, not more. If you only know 3 facts and they all fit together, you feel 100% certain. If you know 300 facts and they contradict each other, you feel unsure. We crave the easy story. We crave cognitive ease. We want the world to make sense. Even if that sense is a hallucination, we would rather be confidently wrong than hesitantly right. To fight WSIT, you must become an aggressive hunter of missing information. You must stop settling for the easy story. Phase 1. Whenever you feel a rush of agreement or judgment, whether it's reading a news headline or hearing gossip about a friend, you must stop and ask the magic question. The question is, what would I need to know to prove this is false? Most of us look for evidence to support our beliefs. You must train yourself to look for evidence that destroys them. Phase 2. Stop viewing changing your mind as a weakness. Start viewing it as a software update. When you discover you were wrong, don't feel shame. Feel excitement. It means your map just got more accurate. Tell yourself, I am not my ideas. I am the mechanism that improves them. Phase 3. Adopt the mantra of the scientist. Certainty is a warning sign. Curiosity is the cure. Phase 4. Next time you are in a disagreement, stop arguing your side. Genuine attempt to articulate the other person's position better than they can. Say, I want to make sure I understand. You're saying X, Y, and Z. Is that right? Force System 1 to process the data it is trying to ignore. You will feel the physical resistance in your brain. That resistance is you getting smarter. Lisa wants to invest in a new tech startup. She reads 2 articles about the founder. He's young, visionary, and wears a black turtleneck. System 1 loves this. It recognizes the pattern, Steve Jobs. The story is coherent. The narrative is easy. She feels excited. She is ready to transfer her savings. But she pauses. She activates the audit. She asks, what is the invisible data? She realizes she has seen 0 financial statements. She hasn't looked at the competitors. She hasn't checked the failure rate of the industry. She forces herself to look for reasons not to invest. She finds out the company is being sued for patent infringement. The beautiful, easy story collapses. The excitement vanishes, replaced by relief. She didn't buy the stock. She bought the silence of knowing she didn't get played by her own brain. We have met the 2 pilots. We know that one is fast and reckless, and the other is slow and lazy. We know that we are addicted to easy stories and blind to missing information. But this is only the foundation, because here is where things get truly dangerous. It's one thing to make a mistake because you didn't see the full picture. It is another thing entirely to make a mistake because your brain is actively rigging the game against you. What happens when your memory lies to you? What happens when the fear of loss paralyzes you from gaining anything? What happens when you realize that the life you are living and the life you remember living are 2 completely different things? We are about to go deeper into the machinery. We are about to confront the glitches. That don't just affect your decisions. They affect your happiness. The pilots are just the beginning. Now we have to look at the flight recorder. Let's look at that flight recorder. If System 1 is the reckless pilot, and System 2 is the lazy co-pilot, then your memory is the black box recording the journey. You rely on that recording to tell you who you are. You rely on it to tell you if you had a happy childhood, a good vacation, or a bad relationship. But there is a problem. The black box is a liar. It doesn't record reality. It edits. It cuts scenes. It highlights the peaks and deletes the boredom. And because you trust this dishonest recording, you are making decisions for a life that doesn't exist. We have fixed how you think. Now we have to expose the lies controlling how you feel. Core ID 3. Loss aversion. This is the lie that keeps you small. It is the invisible whisper that says stay safe when you actually need to stay moving. Imagine I invite you to play a game. I will flip a coin. If it's tails, you lose $100. If it's heads, you win $150. Mathematically, this is a winning bet. You should take it every time. But System 1 screams, no. Why? Because the psychological pain of losing $100 is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining $150. This is loss aversion. Evolution designed us to survive, not to prosper. In nature, missing a meal is bad, but being eaten by a lion is final. So, your mind lies to you. It tells you that losing money or feeling embarrassed is the same as being eaten. Most people think they are ambitious. They think they are chasing their dreams. The truth is, you are mostly just running away from potential regret. You don't ask for that raise because the fear of no outweighs the joy of yes. You don't approach that attractive stranger because the sting of rejection hurts more than the possibility of love feels good. You are playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And when you play not to lose, You stagnate. We need to call the bluff. You need to prove to System 1 that the lion isn't real. Phase 1. Identify one area where you are stalling. A text you haven't sent. A project you haven't launched. Ask yourself, what specifically am I afraid of losing here? Usually, it's comfort, pride, or face. Then ask, is this loss fatal, or is it just uncomfortable? If it's not fatal, the fear is a lie. Phase 2. You must rewrite the definition of safe. System 1 thinks safe means nothing changes. System 2 must realize, in a changing world, standing still is the most dangerous move of all. Phase 3. Repeat this. I am a risk investor, not a safety hoarder. I spend comfort to buy growth. Phase 4. The Coffee Shop Challenge. Next time you buy a coffee, ask for a 10% discount. Just ask, I'm a loyal customer. Can I get 10% off? They will likely say no. You will feel awkward. Your face will get hot. Good. You are teaching System 1 that social rejection does not equal death. You survive. The lie dissolves. Thomas has a ticket to a concert. He paid $200 for it. On the night of the show, there is a blizzard. Driving is dangerous. He is tired. If he hadn't bought the ticket, he would never drive in the storm for free. But he goes anyway. Why? Because he believes the lie that wasting money is worse than risking his life. He drives through the storm to save a sunk cost. He had a miserable night to avoid a miserable feeling. Don't be Thomas. Let the money go. Save the night. Core idea 4, the sunk cost fallacy. This leads us directly into the trap that destroys companies and marriages. The lie of investment. Imagine you are halfway through a terrible book. You hate it. But you tell yourself, I've already read 150 pages. I have to finish it. This is the sunk cost fallacy. It is the lie that your past effort justifies future suffering. You think you are honoring your past work, but you are actually chaining yourself to a corpse. System 1 hates waste, so it throws good time after bad time. Most people think that quitting is a sign of failure. We are taught that winners never quit. The truth is, winners quit all the time. They just quit the right things at the right time. Continuing a bad path just because you started it isn't grit. It's self-sabotage, your past self. The one who made the decision was less informed than your current self. Why are you letting the ignorant version of you boss around the wiser version of you? You need a tool to cut the emotional cord. Phase 1. Look at your current obligations, your job, your relationship, your major projects. Conduct the rehiring test. Ask, knowing what I know right now, would I start this today? If I wasn't already dating this person, would I ask them out today? Phase 2. If the answer is no, you are in a sunk cost trap. You don't have to quit today, but you must stop lying to yourself. You are not persevering. You are lingering. Phase 3. Repeat this. My loyalty is to my future, not my past errors. Phase 4. Find one small thing to quit this week. A newsletter you don't read. A committee you dread. Cancel it. Feel the guilt rise up. Observe it. Then feel the rush of freedom that comes after. You just bought back your life. A CEO spent $10 million developing a new phone. Halfway through, a competitor released a better phone for half the price. The CEO's advisor said, "We have to finish. We've already spent $10 million. The CEO asked, "Will we make money on the next $10 million we spend?" The answer was no. He canceled the project that day. The press called him a failure. 2 years later, he used that saved capital to invent a product that changed the world. He refused to believe the lie that he had to fix the past. He chose to build the future. Core idea 5, the two selves. We have arrived at the deepest lie of all. We have talked about System 1 and System 2, but Kahneman discovered something even scarier, something that challenges the very idea of happiness. You think you are one person. You are not. You are two. There is the experiencing self. This is the you who lives in the moment. It feels the sun on your skin. It feels the ache in your back. The experiencing self lives life in 3-second loops. And then There is the remembering self. This is the you who looks back. This is the storyteller. Here's the horror. The remembering self is a tyrant. It doesn't care about how long you were happy. It only cares about the peak intensity and the ending. Experiment. Patient A undergoes a painful procedure for 20 minutes. The pain is moderate. Patient B undergoes the same procedure for 10 minutes. The pain is moderate. But at the very end, patient B gets a spike of extreme pain. Who suffered more? Logic says patient A. He was in pain twice as long. But memory says patient B. Because the ending was bad, the remembering self poisons the entire memory. Here is the realization that should keep you up at night. You are often making decisions to satisfy a memory you haven't even formed yet, at the expense of the life you are actually living. You plan a vacation not for the relaxation experience, but for the pictures, memory. You stay in a high-stress career not for the daily grind, which you hate, but for the biography you want to write in your head. We sacrifice the reality of now for the story of later. We treat our lives like a movie that is being filmed for an audience of one, our future self. And in doing so, we miss the movie. Final summary. We started this journey thinking we were rational pilots. We discovered we are passengers. We learned that our confidence is often an illusion. We learned that our fear of loss is a biological trick. And finally, we learned that we're torn between living our life and remembering it. So, how do you stop the lies? Respect the toddler, but obey the professor. Acknowledge your gut, but let logic sign the checks. Audit the map. Always ask, what is the invisible data? Feed the experience. Stop living for the photo. Put the camera down. The memory will fade, but the moment is the only thing that is real. Life is not a static object you own. It is a lens you look through. System 1 is the fast shutter snapping quick, blurry pictures based on instinct. System 2 is the focus ring slow, difficult to turn, but essential for clarity. If you leave the camera on autopilot, you will end up with a blurry, distorted album of a life you didn't choose. You have to grab the lens. You have to twist the ring. You have to focus. I will leave you with this. If you had a vacation that was perfect in every way, but at the end, you had to take a pill that wiped your memory of the entire trip, would you still go? If the answer is no, then who are you really living for? I want you to go down to the comments right now. Don't overthink it. Let System 1 answer first. Tell me, what is one lie your mind has told you recently that you are ready to stop believing? Writing it down is the first step to waking up. I'll see you there.